what I mean, we saw him as president. We do have an example of what he did as a president, and he's not Hitler. I mean, he's doing a really shitty job at being Hitler
The
so far, at least.
funniest part about the Hitler thing was clearly that that was planned. So they planned, they were like, well, how are we going to organize the campaign? There was no real structure. You should have like a lifeline of how the plan's going to go. Okay, we're going to start with Joy. We're going to move on to, we're going to move on to you're a powerful woman. We're going to, continue with I'm the most powerful bitch that's ever lived. And then we're going to go to you're going to look a little bit mean right there. We're going to go to look, this guy's a little bit like Hitler, and you need somebody like me to handle Hitler. I'm a strong woman that whatever it is, a lifeline. They started with Joy, and they arbitrarily seem to have ended with Hitler. And the way they fucked it up is Donald Trump was literally a McDonald's employee a few days before you're like, he's Hitler. You're like, wait, it's like 48 hours ago. He's being funny as fuck in a McDonald's place. He's literally making fries. The other day, he's on Flagrant, talking about, Don Jr., is a little wild, parties of Don Jr. and making jokes and cracking up and going, I'm mostly honest. And then he's on Theo Von talking about cocaine. Before Flagrant, Theo's going, cocaine's this. And he's like, cocaine, tell me about cocaine. They're talking about cocaine.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
You're sitting here going, all right, whoever the fuck came up with Hitler right after the fucking McDonald's thing, that person should be fired.
Right after he got shot.
He's been shot. He's been You literally installed, he's a threat to democracy. You literally installed her without an election.
That's the big one. That's the biggest one.
Yeah, he's a McDonald's clerk. And then, by the way, right after they call him Hitler, he becomes a trash man. And he's wearing the shit you had on last week going, it made me look slimmer. So, I wore it.
Dude, he was playing fucking chess and they were playing checkers.
They weren't like that is the worst timing for the Hitler smear is watching this guy being basically a stand-up comic at the Al Smith dinner. Fucking by the way, that's another mistake she made. She didn't go on Al Smith dinner.
She snubbed so many people that cost her so many votes. That shit hurt her, man.
For no reason.
That she was inaccessible way too much. I mean, this guy was accessible to everybody.
Everybody you wanted to be. Yeah. He told 60 Minutes, you apologize for lying or fuck off. They didn't. So going through the mistakes, I can go back to the beginning. First of all, they picked the wrong horse. The second mistake they made is she didn't talk to anybody originally. She stayed away from everybody. The third mistake was they started talking to people, and she wasn't able to do that either. They were like, go talk. She goes, who's your favorite rapper? Well, I don't know. But
I come from a middle-class family.
Oh, no, is first Tupac. They're like, Tupac girl, then I get. And then all of a sudden, a few seconds later, I don't know, but some of these rappers need to stay in their lane.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
By the way, how that isn't the most famous clip for you and I, we watched it, we loved it, but that should have been the biggest clip. That should have been what swayed the election, but it did not.
These rappers need to stay in their lane.
So she goes from I'm not talking to anybody and protected with all these propaganda, staged events. As soon as she started talking, because people started to go, oh my God, she really is the chosen one. She has this talent. As soon as she started talking, people are like, oh, she's a fucking idiot. Oh my God. And Democrats at that point were literally the same as they were with Biden with senility. They're like, no, she's not that. She just is a little, she started late in the campaign. She's nervous. Like she just doesn't deal with men badgering, like whatever excuse it is, no matter how dumb it got, they were like, there's some excuse that excuses why she's dumb.
You think she was really drinking a lot?
Yes, she was clearly getting, I think maybe pills, actually. Maybe pills with like a little bit of alcohol, not too much alcohol, but like a painkiller or some shit, a little Xanax, go out on stage for anxiety.
That's strictly speculation, am I right?
Yeah, she looked a little high though. I should have been high. We know what high people look like. You can see her when she's sober. There, you can tell the staff's like, "Don't you fucking touch that goddamn bill. You get out." Like a girl in a two-girl show that you need that's doing coke in the bathroom with a bachelor party out there. You're like, take that bill. They're waiting for you. You alive. So that's like that.
At least
So
she's not grinding her jaw.
she wasn't grinding her jaw. That is good. So whatever drugs were, that's why I say, Xanax, because it's very relaxing. I think she has
Yeah.
anxiety. I think if she's like left without her anxiety, she might like kill a family pet, or something like that. Like maybe cook it, like a Haitian,
Like a Haitian.
like a cat, like a dog or a cat. Haitians don't eat dogs. Um, so not talking to somebody, but then you're getting these questions that are obvious. If you're the Kamala Harris campaign and you're like, all right, you're running for president, they're gonna ask you about this border thing. Let's come up with, an answer for the border, and let's brainstorm. There's 20 of us here. How do you want to answer it? John, what do you think? I think we should go with the middle class. Everyone goes, oh, John, that intrigues me. Tell us more about the middle class answer. So when they ask about the border, we don't want to talk about the border. Explain.
It's no different than preparing for a fight, man. You go through the dangers and what to look out for and the trends and everything else, and you make a game plan. I don't think they made a game plan. They got hit and burned with the same question multiple times,
Yes.
over and
They
over again.
they didn't
You
seem to
get
have it.
one question wrong, you go back and fix it. You don't get
Yeah.
hit by it twice. You don't get hit by the same right hand over your jab twice.
So what you're saying is that they are literally Mike Sawyer with your jab.
Yes.
He would
Uh,
Mike you to move your fucking head.
I couldn't get to that motherfucker to move his head for the life of him.
Yeah,
Like you're busting, I'm like I'm fucking busting you up, man. Move your fucking head. I can't.
she
Fucking
had
nose all bleeding.
there's a lot of Democrats out there going, if she had more time, she could have done better. She wasn't able to come up with an answer for the border. Okay. So if all right, that would have been a good one. Let me pretend I'm Kamala. You ask me about the border. Let me bullshit you. Ask me
Go.
if I had never fixed. You ask me.
Oh, hey Kamala,
Yes.
why didn't she ever fix the border?
Nice
Fucking
cock,
bitch.
Jimmy. First, you want me to suck it? Right. All right. So it's very difficult for me to do female voice for a while. So here, let me explain the border thing. Well, the border, everybody thinks the border is a very easy thing. When Donald Trump's border numbers were low, it was during COVID, and nobody wanted to catch COVID. So it's a little artificial. There's a lot of complexity. You've got state issues, you've got funding, you've got other things. So when we inherited this border, it looked low, but it really wasn't low. As soon as COVID went, we got waves of people. We've been dealing with that. We have to get it done legislatively. Our first order of business was making sure we wouldn't put kids in cages. That's a bad optics. We can't be the organization that yells at him and going, look, he puts kids in cages, and then we're putting kids in cages. You can't do that. So we didn't want to look bad to the American people. We've got to work through Congress and come up with a plan to bring in the right people, kick out the wrong people, and keep the wrong people out from the get-go. And as president, I will be able to do that with the Republican side because I think that we have a lot of common ground there. Boom. Right? Right? Like it's
That's right.
not that fucking hard.
It's 2 plus 2.
She couldn't do that. She was like, I, well, border,
I
speak.
I heard that after the debate or one of the town halls, she collapsed and fell down crying.
Yeah, that was after. Here's the funniest thing, too, because here's an example of, we'll call it gaslighting. That was the Brett Baer interview.
Yeah, the Brett Baer interview.
If you talk to a Democrat who gets their news from the mainstream news, if you talk to a person who doesn't really do research at all and says, hey, the news is telling me the truth, They will tell you that the Brett Baer interview is her best moment. In reality, it was such a train wreck that her four aides ended the entire thing after 20 minutes. It was supposed to go 40.
Dude, Brett Baer is such a nice guy. It reminded me of a fucking fighter knocking his friend out and trying to hold him up. I mean, he did. He was beautiful. Everything went great.
No, he's an argument. He likes to argue. He'll test you, test you. He did it with Trump, worse
I
than her.
know, but he didn't make a fool out of her like a lot of those guys would have.
Correct. He just challenged her, and her people went fucking ape shit. Shut the whole interview down. She came off allegedly, said it's over, and collapsed in tears, which is exactly what you want out of a president that
Right.
can't handle questions.
Who's going to be dealing with Mao Ching over there?
I want a president who's going to cry over somebody asking him questions. There's no amount of questions that you could do, you and I, in a 20-minute period of time. I'd be like, just give me your worst. Give me your fucking worst. If
Yeah.
the CIA had like 6 or 7 days, they could probably make me cry. They probably could. But fucking 20 minutes, the best
Food,
CIA person in the world
food
couldn't,
deprived.
the best CIA, Nazi, whatever in the world couldn't make either of us fucking dent our emotions in 20 minutes. Not even a little bit. They may sting a little bit, but you're not going to be like, oh
I
my,
wouldn't even know I was there for the first 20 minutes.
that's true. Like, Eric, soon your mother will be gone. I'll be like, yeah, that's true. Wish you were gone right now. She's downstairs right now. I'm trying to get her out. Can you help me with that? Can you get